There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, June 17th. John here from Hall of Justice Comics to talk with you, to chat at you while you're having your morning coffee on your commute to work, possibly, about all the stuff that's on FOC this week. FOC, for those of you just joining us for the first time, FOC stands for Final Order Cutoff. It's kind of a last call. It's our last attempt to adjust our numbers on books before they ship out to us here at the store. So that's important, because if you don't let us know what you want before FOC, before cutoff, before last call, then unfortunately you're going to be relegated to grabbing something off of the rack if we have rack copies. Normally we do, but just to be safe, to ensure that you get the comics that you want to read or collect or speculate on, whatever, let us know off of this list what you'd like to order before Sunday for DC and Monday for everybody else. So that's what we do. That's what we talk about. I highlight certain things. I don't talk about everything, and we'll get to that a little bit later, because there's way more than the stuff that I'm talking about here, that I'm featuring here in our post. The post that you see behind me is live every Wednesday night, usually right around 11, maybe midnight. It's on our website. You go to hallofjusticecomics.com, click on the blog, and then this is going to be the very first thing that your eyes feast upon. I type this up every Wednesday night. We're a little ahead of the game, because publishers technically don't have to have all the final information, final items into Diamond until Friday morning. So sometimes there's things that we miss. Sometimes we get it all. It just kind of depends on what's happening, especially with regards to subsequent printing. So if you would like to subscribe to any of the stuff that we're going to talk about, please don't comment on this video. In the description of this video on Facebook, I have a link to the post that I made just minutes prior to going live. That's where we would like you to post all of your comments, all of your sub and pull information. We had an issue with Facebook a few weeks ago where they removed our video, I think because we were talking about a certain Batman Fortnite crossover that has stuff in it that you can redeem somewhere else. And I think that violated their terms of selling on Facebook, even though we're not selling anything. It's an informational video to make you aware of stuff. But anyway, as a result of that, I've asked folks to not comment on these videos for fear of Facebook pulling them again. So, but if you look at the description of this video, there are two links right in the description. Both links take you to the same place. Anything that you see that we talk about here on the show, please click on that link and then comment. If you would like to subscribe to the book, where you'll get the subsequent issues in your hold slot, you can say sub with the title. If you would just like to pull a copy or multiple copies, we just need you to comment with pull. We need the title of the book that you're looking for, the cover that you'd like to order, and the quantity that you'd like to order. And this is for all the speculating crowd. If you want to order 10 copies of Nice House on the Lake, let me know. All you have to do is let me know before it's on FOC. That way, when the book, this is an example because that's already out. But as long as you let me know before FOC, I'm going to adjust my order to accommodate your 10 copies of that book. That way, when the comics come in, when we run our pull summary, when we have our pull reports, there's still issues. We still have Diamond issues. We have shipping issues. We have shortage issues. But the chances are higher that you will get the books that you want if you have placed an order pre-FOC. Okay? And the last thing I call attention to is that little line right there that says covers that are in bold in this write-up did not have images at the time that I wrote this up. So, but I'll show you how we can check for that kind of throughout the weekend. Okay? So, again, this stuff behind me, you can follow along. It's on our website, hallofjusticecomics.com. You click on the blog. There you are. From Dark Horse this week, we have Savage Hearts, #1 of 5. She's a brawny barbarian bruiser with a broken heart, and that is a marvel of alliteration. He's a lonely beast man who talks to dinosaurs. What happens when they team up against an evil sorcerer? Action, comedy, and romance in this all-new jungle fantasy rom-com from Aubrey Sitterson of No One Left to Fight and Jed Doherty from World's Finest and Harley Quinn and Justice League. includes a special print single issue exclusive backup called No Kings, No Masters by Aubrey Sitterson and Goran Gilgovich. So, Savage Hearts, if you like barbarian rom-com stuff, that might be right up your alley. It looks kind of fun. Number 1 is on FOC from the folks at Dark Horse. I had to feature this book from DC because the B cover right here beside me is a Rose Besh variant, and everybody's going nuts for her work. From what I understand, she was an artist in a different medium. I can't remember if it was Grateful Dead. I don't remember, but she's done a lot of work prior to comic books. The Silk number 2, 1 in 25 was, I think, her first foray into comic book covers, and she's just been a smash hit ever since then. So this is DC's Future State Gotham number 3. Red Hood comes mask to mask with Gotham's most wanted, the next Batman. As the future of the Bat family continues its deadly showdown, made worse by the horde of psychopathic criminals who want to kill them both. And finally, the new Gotham villain, Warmonger, reveals himself. So it's also got a first appearance of Warmonger in the book. Cover A over there on the far left is by Simone DeMeo. Cover B right here beside me is by Rose Besh. They are $3.99, $4.99. The B covers from DC are always cardstock covers, and so they're $1 more, okay? I had to feature this next one, too, because look at this Carrie Andrews cover. And it's not just that one. Look at this Sean Phillips cover. That's amazing. That's amazing. The A cover's solid, too. He's in his Hannibal Lecter mask. This is Joker number 5. The never-before-seen tale of the Joker's first night in Arkham Asylum is finally revealed. When a lunatic in a clown suit tries to poison Gotham's reservoir and is placed in Arkham Asylum before his trial, Detective Jim Gordon realizes something's different about this new inmate that could forever change the future of Gotham. Backup Rising Star artist Sweeney Boo joins the series as things get worse and worse for Punchline and Bluebird. Punchline's prison war against the Queen of Spades escalates, and no prisoner at Blackgate Penitentiary will be exempt from choosing sides. And after barely escaping death at the hands of Punchline's former accomplice, will Bluebird have the will to continue her investigation and find the mysterious woman from Punchline's past who has the answers she's looking for? Again, cover A over there, far left, is by Guillaume March. Cover B right here beside me, Carrie Andrews, killing it with that one. And cover C, Sean Phillips, the other half of Ed Brubaker and Criminal and all of the kind of pulp noir crime stuff that they've done together, turns in a fantastic offering right there for the C cover. Okay, so A, B, and C, Joker number 5. Next from DC, I had to feature this one too because both covers are amazing. Justice League Last Ride, number 3 of 7. This is the Chip Zdarsky written Justice League miniseries that everybody should be in on. Apocalypse, once the fiery terror of the multiverse, now a lifeless husk filled with ghosts and dark secrets. Will the planet formerly ruled by Darkseid help the Justice League or destroy it? Cover A over there with a very cool Starry Night, Darkseid, is by Derek Robertson. Cover B right here beside me, also phenomenal, by Mr. Riccardo Federici. $3.99, $4.99, Justice League Last Ride number 3. From IDW this week comes Kanto 3, Lionhearted number 1 of 6. Fan favorite Kanto continues. The tiny clockwork knight in search of a heart has found his people's freedom and has saved them from the curse of the Shrouded Man. But is he ready to face his enemy on the battlefield? After making the ultimate sacrifice, Kanto bears a weapon that could defeat the Shrouded Man and free all the inhabitants of the unnamed world. Now he races to find a hidden settlement of his former slavers to enlist them as allies in the coming war. That is, if the Shrouded Man doesn't find them first. A cover, there's only an A cover for this one by Drew Zucker right there on your screen. Kanto 3, Lionhearted number 1 of 6. Okay? From Image this week, Man Eaters continues with a new 5-issue miniseries called Cursed. This is number 1. Man Eaters The Cursed reunites the original Man Eaters creative team for another tale of adolescent feminist daring do and supernatural hijinks. Maud, who is now 15, is sent to craft camp for the week. It goes south pretty quickly. Smart, laugh-out-loud funny, provocative, referential, scary, chock full of ephemera, and compulsively rereadable, plus fairies. Advisory, don't read this book while you are actually camping. Cover A and B right there are both by Leah Minternique. So Man-Eaters the Cursed, #1, cover A, cover B. Excuse me. For Marvel this week, we have an Aliens Aftermath #1 one-shot. For Aliens, the movie's 35th anniversary, a return to Hadley's Hope. It's been 35 years since the tragedy of the Hadley's Hope colony, but what happened to that ill-fated venture has been shrouded in mystery. A renegade crew of investigative journalists are heading towards the moon that Wayland Yutani has wiped from all records, and they'll bring back the truth, even if it kills them. And what remains in that bombed-out site will try to do just that. Kill them. Benjamin Percy and Dave Watcher imagine a terrifying possible future for LV-426 in the celebration of the 35th anniversary of one of the most influential science fiction films of all time. Excuse me. Main cover on the far left is by Phil Noto. Variant cover right here beside me is by Mr. Ron Lim. It is $4.99. If you are subbed to the current Alien series, we will pull a copy of this for you unless you tell us that you don't want it, because that's what we do. We try to find complimentary things for you. We tried to hand everybody who is subscribed to Department of Truth or Something is Killing the Children a copy of Nice House on the Lake, and now it's a $20 book, so you're welcome. We try to do nice things. Next from Marvel this week comes Extreme Carnage Scream #1. These are a series of one-shots. This is Scream, Curse of Carnage. Writer Clay McLeod Chapman returns to the character to lend his lethal sensibilities to Extreme Carnage. Andy Benton has always been a fighter, and that's never been truer than since she bonded to the Scream symbiote a few months ago. I'm live, so you need to go out front, please. But even after Absolute Carnage and King in Black, Andy has never had to fight like this, and worse still, if she can't save her symbiote from whatever unseen force is affecting it, she might have to do it alone. There's 3 covers that are available for Extreme Carnage Scream. The main cover over there on the far left is by Scan Suraswan. The connecting cover variant right here beside me is by Jeff Johnson. It's going to connect to all of these one-shots. And then, kids, there's a Scotty Young variant. There it is. So cute. So dorbs. Extreme Carnage Scream #1, $3.99 for either of those 3 covers. Okay? All right, kids, here you go. Tying into Amazing Spider-Man this week comes Sinister War #1 of 4. Dr. Octopus is back and the Sinister War has begun. Ock's got a new Sinister Six, and if you think he's thought big in the past, think again. What Ock doesn't know is that the Vulture has a sextet of his own, the Savage Six. It's an all-out war between 2 of the greatest villains in the Marvel Universe, and the only person they hate more than each other is Spider-Man. Spidey's in deep trouble with the toughest battle that he's ever faced. Nick Spencer and Mark Bagley team up for this epic Spider-Man story guaranteed to shock readers everywhere. I don't know what that means. Main cover on the far... Okay, so if you are subscribed to Amazing Spider-Man, we will put you on Sinister War. Because Amazing Spider-Man is going to have Sinister War tie-ins. And that only makes sense. If you just want Sinister War, that's cool too. Please let us know. If you would like Sinister War with all the Amazing Spider-Man tie-ins, also please let us know. Hopefully that made sense. So there's basically 3 options. If you're subbed to ASM, we're going to put you on Sinister War. If you are not subbed to ASM and you just want to read Sinister War, we can make that happen and just pull you the 4-issue miniseries. If you would like to get Sinister War plus all the ASM tie-ins, let us know. So that's option number 3. I hope that makes sense. And there's a whole mess of variants. So here we go. Main cover over there on the far left is by Brian Hitch. The connecting cover variant right here beside me, I believe, is by Mark Bagley, right? Connecting cover by Mark Bagley. So that's going to connect to all 4 issues. Gary Frank on the far left has an awesome cover right there. Juan Baldion is doing another handbook variant for Sinister War #1 featuring Lady Electro. Todd Knock turns in a headshot cover right there for you featuring Dr. Ock and his cool shades. Cale Nagu has an awesome Spider-Man on Sinister War #1. Jeffrey Verege over there on the far left has a cover featuring Doc Ock. This person, last name is Vincentini. Let me look. Hold on. Federico Vincentini with that one right there with Vulture and Spider-Man. And last but not least, we have the super mega badass ultimate Mark Bagley wraparound cover. So what the heck was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 covers for Sinister War #1. Okay, again, if you're on ASM, we got you covered. If you would like to pull Sinister War, let us know. If you'd like to pull Sinister War with the ASM tie-ins, also please let us know. If you don't want Sinister War and you're on Spider-Man, also let us know. So that's four choices now. I don't know. From Boom Studios this week, Mouse Guard returns with a very cool small 8x8 sized one-shot called Al Hen Caregiver #1. Which of life's biggest lessons can be learned from the smallest among us? A young mouse learns that compassion and kindness are great virtues in the Al Hen Caregiver. Piper the listener finds a brave mouse venturing into wild country to learn the tongues of other beasts, and a grizzled old fur shares the lesson of putting a whisker out too far in the wild wolf. 3 poignant tales mark creator David Peterson's return to his beloved Eisner and Harvey Award-winning series in this self-contained special, with a cover right there by David Peterson. 8 inches by 8 inches, so it's going to be smaller than a traditional comic book, kids, and it's going to have a cover price of $4.99. From Ablaze this week comes the next iteration of the Cimmerian. This is the Man-Eaters of Zamboula #1. The Cimmerian in the land of 1,001 nights. A crossroads of beliefs, languages, and cultures, the mythical trading city of Zamboula is also the scene of many dark legends. Upon paying the city a visit, Conan is warned of the dangers of Aram Baksh's home. It is said that the most of the foreigners who stay there disappear under obscure circumstances, and it is precisely there that the Cimmerian is spending the night. But by lifting the veil on these mysterious cases of kidnappings, the Cimmerian will discover another secret, even more terrible, linked to the whole city of Zamboula. A story imbued with Orientalism.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Shut up, Siri. Imbued with Orientalism, I don't know what that means, and macabre witchcraft, the Man-Eaters of Zamboula offers writer-artist Guess the opportunity to deliver his vision of Robert E. Howard's hero in a comic book story of exotic, erotic, and dark beauty. With bonus material, the original Robert E. Howard prose story included in this series. So, most of these have been 3-issue minis. I think that they're probably going to continue with this. The main cover over there on the far left is by Yannick Paquette, and it is fantastic. The B cover right here is by Moritat, also fantastic. The C cover on the far left there is by Guess, so that is who is going to be illustrating the inside of this book. The wraparound cover right here beside me, right there, is by Robin Recht. And last but not least, we have the Fritz Cassis homage variant featuring the Cimmerian Man-Eaters of Zamboula from Ablaze. So typical thing here. If you were on the old Cimmerian series, we'll copy your subscription onto the new one, unless you ask us not to. So. From Dynamite this week, Dynamite is rebooting Barbarella. So between Cimmerian and Barbarella, there's a lot of buxom ladies for your eyes to feast upon. The Siren of Space returns for a series of all-new adventures by a dynamic new creative team. Multi-award-winning author Sarah Hoyt and rising star artist Madabek Musabekov are at the controls as Barbarella leaves Space Dock on a new mission fraught with unseen layers of danger, like a tiramisu, duplicity, and perhaps a dose of romance. Camelot is home to the rich and powerful class seeking escape from an increasingly crowded and decaying galactic empire. Desperate clandestine transmissions from an enslaved underclass bring Barbarella to investigate, uncovering secrets that lead to more secrets and the distinct possibility that someone knew she was coming. High-concept sci-fi meets the greatest aspects of the human soul in a series that will reveal wonders that both terrify and delight, plus these amazing covers. So cover A on the far left there is by Lucio Perillo. Cover B right here beside me is by Derek Chu. Cover C on the far left, Brian Bolland. doing a Barbarella cover. Cover D right here is by Danny. That's fantastic. Cover E is the cosplay / bootylicious cover right there for you. And then there is a blank that is right here beside me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options for Barbarella number 1. Okay. From Aftershock this week, we have Beyond the Breach number 1. Life sucks for Vanessa. Her mother just died and her boyfriend is cheating on her with her own sister. That sucks. To clear her mind, Vanessa is taking the California road trip that she's been dreaming about for years. Her postcard-perfect drive through old-growth forests quickly turns when the breach hits. A bizarre anomaly in the sky plunges California into a nightmare world populated with strange extra-dimensional creatures. Now Vanessa, along with Dougie, an orphan child, and Kai, a strange fuzzball of a beast, must fight to survive if they ever hope to make it back home. If there's even a home to return to. Written by Ed Brisson of Uncanny X-Men, Ghost Rider, and Old Man Logan, and illustrated by Damian Cosiero from Old Man Logan, Iron Fist, and X-Force, Beyond the Breach is a fantastical sci-fi road trip adventure about perseverance and finding family in unexpected places. Sounds a little bit like Mitchell's vs. the Machines if you haven't seen that on Netflix. $4.99 for this one-shot, Beyond the Breach number 1. From Oni this week, we have a new Rick and Morty Presents. This is their quarterly special, kind of featuring some of the different characters in and around the Rick and Morty world. This is the Hotel Immortal number 1, which is just a one-shot. Murder at the Hotel Immortal? Impossible, you say? Not so! Find out who done stabbed whom in this whodunit issue of Rick and Morty Presents. When Cornelius Daniels checks in for some R&R at the Hotel Immortal, bodies start dropping and accusations start flying. Cover A on the far left is by Mark Ellerby. Cover B right here beside me is by Philip Murphy. They are both $4.99, just a one-shot. Okay. From Valiant this week, we have Ninjak number 1 coming back. Out of the shadows and into the spotlight, the world's greatest super spy has been exposed. Colin King is Ninjak, and he has a target on his back like never before. With enemies lurking around every corner, how will Ninjak survive when there's nowhere left to hide and the world is gunning for him? Hang on to your hats, folks. Jeff Parker and Javier Pulido are about to take you on a non-stop thrill ride with a variety of covers, the first being David Nakayama on the far left. Then we have Casper Wingard, cover B right here beside me. Damian Scott over there on the far left is the cover C. The pre-order bundle edition is by Ibrahim Mustafa. And then there is a blank for Ninjak number 1. All right, kids, that brings us to the subsequent print speculation section. This is a little segment that we'd like to highlight second prints. Second prints, third prints, fourth prints, etc. generally have smaller print runs than the original printings. And as a result, sometimes they can command a higher price on the secondary market as soon as they come out. So, to make sure that you get them at cover price, less your discount if you have a hold slot, we like to talk about them a little bit here on the show. First off, from DC, we have Conjuring the Lover number 1 getting a second print. That was kind of a sleeper hit for everybody, I think. We still have first print copies on the rack, so come get some. Next from DC, you'll notice this is in bold. Nice House on the Lake number 1 is getting a second printing. Very similar cover to the first print, but it will have kind of a distressed look to it. So, if you missed out, again, I think we only have cover Bs left, which are the cardstock covers. Their market value now. But if you missed out on number 1, if you don't want to pay a premium, you can special order a second print of number 1 as long as you get it in before Sunday at 11 a.m. Father's Day, kids, okay? For Marvel, this one again, this was another one when it came out. It was immediately a $20 comic book because it's got the first appearance of the kid from Iron Man 3 in it. Web of Spider-Man number 1 is getting a second print that is on FOC on Monday. But we didn't have an image for either Nice House on the Lake or Web of Spider-Man, which is why that they are in bold right there in the write-up. All right. This last segment is the Who Does Number 2 Workforce segment. This is where we highlight issue number 2s. You may have picked up a number 1. You may have read it. You might have not read it. Get your butt in gear and read it. And then if you enjoyed it, let us know if you would either like to subscribe to the book or pull a copy of number 2. This one we talked about last week. This one was technically on FOC last week, before we had any sales information for issue number 1, which came out Wednesday. As a result, Ablaze is re-FOCing Space Pirate Captain Harlock, so that's why it's on your screen again. So we're going to kind of breeze over this one. We talked about it last week. If you had a chance to pick up number 1 off the rack, if you enjoyed it, add it to your subscription, or at least pull a copy of number 2. That way you can see where the story goes. So there you go. Space Pirate Captain Harlock number 2. We got 5 covers for it. From Aftershock, Bunny Mask. Holy moly, this one was kind of a breakout hit a couple weeks ago. Life explodes around Tyler Severin as depictions of Bunny Mask begin eerily appearing in his life, even as the strange and deadly creature herself walks the earth once more. Meanwhile, as Tyler's relationship with Bee accelerates, he begins hearing the voice of the Snitch whispering everyone's darkest secrets, forcing Tyler to question if Leo Foster, Bee's crazy father, was truly crazy after all, or simply the tormented holder of secrets no man should ever know. There's a lot to unpack in that solicit, kids. Written by Paul Tobin, who is no slouch when it comes to horror comics. Illustrated by Andrea Moody, who's done Maniac of New York and lots of other stuff. Bunny Mask number 2. If you picked up number 1, read it, and enjoyed it, add it to your subscription, or at least pull a copy of number 2. From AWA, Moths number 2. Number 1 came out a couple of weeks ago. The Resistance has taken an intimate look at a very special series of superhuman race known as the Reborn. Emily Kai is what is known as a moth. She was granted immense power by the global pandemic known as the Great Death, but with a caveat. The moment she taps into the power that resides within her, a clock starts, and Emily will only have 6 months to live. Granted the opportunity to bring immense beauty into the world, but only paying the ultimate price, Emily embarks on a harrowing journey of self-discovery that will test her to her core and take her to places way beyond her wildest imagination. Cover right there is by Mike Choi. Moths number 1. From Black Mask, this one was cool. It was. I actually read this book, issue number 1. It is a ton of setup and a lot of world building, which is a good thing. But we have Everfrost number 2. Van and 8 have stepped back into the bustle of the precinct to discover that her son is still alive. There's an epic war between the Bloom and the Warlords bubbling over, and time has become a little fluid since she went out to live on the ice. She needs a whole mess of answers, so she goes to the one person she thinks might be able to help, her mother. Join us for a tale of echoes through time we could only call bootleg fidelity, as 2 key characters meet untimely deaths. Ryan K. Lindsay, award-winning writer of Eternal and Negative Space, teams again with Sammy Cavella, the artistic juggernaut behind Abbott and Undone by Blood, alongside Lauren Aff, the colorist of The Witcher, Stranger Things, and 5 Ghosts, as they drop an absolute bomb of sci-fi insanity and heartbreaking emotion in the grandest Black Mask tradition, with a cover right there by Sammy Cavella. It's cool. It's sci-fi. It's a lot of world building. It's a lot to unpack, but it was a fun read. From Dark Horse this week, Norse Mythology Volume 2, Number 2. New York Times best-selling author Neil Gaiman and Eisner Award-winning comics legend P. Craig Russell breathed new life into the ancient Norse stories by taking readers through the creation of the 9 worlds to the epic origin and adventures of Thor, Odin, and Loki, all the way to the end of life, which is Ragnarok. The conclusion of the Mead of Poets, telling of the wise god Kvasir, poetry's origins, a magical mead, and Odin's devious attempts to win poetry for the gods, with a main cover on the left by P. Craig Russell and a beautiful variant by Mr. David Mack. Norse Mythology Volume 2, Number 2. Also from Dark Horse this week, we have Secret Land, Number 2 of 4. The war is over, Catherine is dead, and Ben is trying to move on, but then the Navy receives a message from her. At a base in Antarctica, the Third Reich is plotting its return, powered by strange and foreboding technology. Catherine is there, and Ben is coming to get her, with a cover by Thomas Aria. From DC this week, we've got Infinite Frontier, Number 2 of 6. We haven't even had Number 1 in stock. I think it might come out next week. It's written by Josh Williamson, so it's going to be fun. What secrets and changes lurk inside the newly expanded multiverse? The devious Director Bones of the DEO reforms a ragtag team to keep the New Worlds at bay. but was highly skilled agent Cameron Chase recruited because the director needs her help, or because he wants a patsy when things go south? Meanwhile, Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, takes drastic measures to find his missing daughter. Someone has kidnapped Jade, and Alan's going to find out why and bring her home. Plus, the resurrection of Roy Harper gives the former Teen Titan some unexpected and unpredictable new powers, with an A cover on the left by Mitch Gerads and a B cover right here beside me that looks like it's going to be a connecting cover by Brian Hitch. $4.99, $5.99, Infinite Frontier number 2. This one just came out this Wednesday. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow number 2 of 8. After the shocking conclusion of last issue, Supergirl and her new friend Ruthie find themselves stranded with no way to pursue Krem, the murderous King's agent. Each moment this fugitive roams free, the more beings become dangerously close to dying by his hand. There is no time to lose, so our heroes must now travel across the universe the old-fashioned way by cosmic bus. Hence the A cover where they're sitting at the cosmic bus stop. Little do they know their journey will be a dark one, filled with terrors that not even the Maid of Might is prepared to face. Can Kara Zor-El lie low long enough to ensure their safe passage? Cover A by Bilquis Evely, and cover B right here beside me by Lee Weeks, written by Mr. Tom frickin' King. $4.99, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. From Dynamite, we have Dynamite Lives number 2. The hit series returns because you can't kill a never-ending army of zombies. You can only hope to beat the crap out of them. After tragically losing their first chosen one against the zombie plague, Vampirella, Miss Fury, and what remains of the project's superpowers look for a new savior. But Ash Williams is an even more reluctant Deadite hunter than usual. This time, the Army of Darkness has ray guns, superpowers, and a brilliant new general, Evil Sonia, who takes her role of Queen of Hell quite seriously. Cover A on the far left by Lucio Perillo. Cover B right here beside me by Mr. Arthur Soydam. Cover C by Joe Linsner over there on the left. And cover D is by Dave Acosta right there beside me. And last but not least, that was the cosplay cover for number 1, but they have it up again for number 2, so I don't know if it's going to be a different image for the cosplay variant for Dynamite Lives number 2. From Image this week, we didn't get this book until Monday because it was supposed to be out last week, but we had a missing package that had all of our copies of this particular book in it, so I don't know what to tell you. 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, number 2. Someone murdered Trigger Keaton, the world's most famous TV action hero, but to be fair, everyone kind of hated him. Now the plot thickens, the sidekick numbers increase, and the stuntman war escalates, and no one is ready for the best car chase ever put to page going down. Cover A by Mr. Chris Schweitzer. Cover B we don't have an image for, which is why it's in bold up here, by Afu Chan. 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, number 2. Here we go. We talked about it last week. Skybound X number 2. This is a weekly 5-issue, I think, miniseries. The second chapter of the wildest Walking Dead story ever, Rick Grimes 2000. Plus the debut of a major new Stillwater character. So if you're reading Stillwater, you're going to want a copy of Skybound X number 2, and a surprising coda to the Birthright saga. So if you're reading Birthright, you're going to want a copy of Skybound X number 2. And the first appearance of everyday hero Machine Boy, who happens to be on the C cover right there. There he is, everyday hero Machine Boy, Skybound X number 2. Cover A by Cliff Rathburn. Cover B by Andre Bresson, who's the artist on Birthright. Cover C is by Tri Vong and Irma Knivla, featuring the first appearance of, I forgot his name already, Everyday Hero Machine Boy. So 3 covers, Skybound X number 2. Okay. From Marvel this week, we've got Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters number 2 of 5. The biggest comic event of the Star Wars galaxy continues. Notorious bounty hunter Boba Fett has tracked his missing prize, heroic smuggler Han Solo frozen in carbonite, to the remote frozen world of Jakara. But representatives from many of the galaxy's most powerful factions have gathered, and they all want the same thing: Solo. Things go from bad to worse as Boba Fett realizes that he himself has become almost as valuable to the galaxy's hunters as Han Solo, and he must turn to the least trustworthy person in the galaxy for help, Dr. Aphra. So this is the first time Aphra and Boba Fett will have ever met in a comic book, which is pretty cool. Main cover on the far left is by Steve McNiven. The action figure variant cover is by John Tyler Christopher featuring Bosk. And last but not least, we have the headshot variant by Giuseppe Camuncoli, War of the Bounty Hunters #2. That brings the show to a close, kids. The last little bit that we leave you with is the entire list of all the product that's on FOC. Sunday for DC and Monday for everybody else. I want to call attention to Berserker #4. 3 came out this week. 4 is on FOC on Monday. If you're digging the Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint and their story about the ever eternal warrior, make sure you get that on your subscription. We put a copy in everybody's box of #1, but we're on #3 now, so don't miss out on Berserker. But let me show you what you can do with this list. This list is broken down by publisher. On one hand, you have the item code. You've got an entire column here on the left with item codes, and then you have the comic descriptions to their right. What was one of the things that we were missing? What was it? Let's check for this one, just because that's the only one that I can remember off the top of my head. So 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton #2 had a B cover. This is the item code for that B cover. The way you can use this list to your advantage, you copy that item code, you open up a new web browser, you post that into the search bar of a web browser. I'm sorry you can't see this on the screen, but the first listing there is the previewsworld.com for 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton #2 cover B. Previewsworld.com is the consumer-facing side of Diamond Comics. So you can go here, you can search for stuff. Here we have all of the solicit info for the B cover for 6 Sidekicks, but we have image coming soon. So no picture as of right now. But again, we're doing this early. The publishers are supposed to have all the images uploaded by beginning of the day on Friday. Let me show you another one that I thought was pretty cool. I didn't feature it when I was typing this up, but from Marvel down here, it was the Spider-Woman #13, Steve McNiven. There you go. Now it's on the screen there. They're doing a Captain America's 80th anniversary series of covers that starts off with stuff that's going to be here in July, ironically for July 4th. But if you wanted to take a look at this sucker, you copy this guy. It's partly an homage to Spider-Woman #1. Again, you open up a web browser, paste that in your web browser. The first item that's going to come up there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. So Steve McNiven after Joe Sinnott. We've got a Captain America-ized version of Spider-Woman for the cover. It's a variant, open-to-order variant cover for Spider-Woman #13. It's just cool. I didn't feature it in my post, but when I saw that, I clicked on it and saw it, and I was like, "That's pretty cool. We'll have to let people know about that." So that's pretty neat. But again, you can use this entire list throughout the week to go, or at least throughout Monday, to go through, figure out what it is that you'd like to order, get your orders sent over to us. Excuse me. Make sure you give us a comment. Follow the link that's in the listing description. Comment on the Facebook post, or if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for starters. Make sure you ring that bell so that you get notifications when we post new videos like this. And then you can comment on the YouTube video like Jason Sills does. We appreciate that, Jason. We'll gather, Chris and I will gather all of that stuff up. Chris will start working on it Saturday because he's not coming in on Sunday since it's Father's Day. And then I kind of clean everything up on Monday when I come in to sit down and do FOC. So that's how it works. If you have questions about the process, please make sure you reach out to us. Let us know. We would be happy to help answer any questions that you guys have. Be safe out there. Come pick up your comics. Venom 200 is out this week, and it is huge, and there are a lot of very full boxes. I'm John. I'll see you tonight. We'll be live, hopefully right around 5-ish for our weekly Thursday night stream sale. Take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.